Do you remember when people would get divorced for two reasons? Okay, it's also the reasons that Christians talk about all the time. Abuse and adultery. Okay, those were the two reasons that justified tearing your family apart, ripping your children's lives apart, having them live in two different places, yada, yada, yada. Okay, adultery and abuse. And now people are getting divorced for absolutely nothing. Proof of that is the concept of mental load. The mental load, I'll get into what it actually is, but what it just tells me is women will complain about anything. So the mental load is this idea where it's an invisible amount of work that needs to be done for the children's social lives, their schooling, and then the housework at home that aren't seen but need to be done, right? So I would think of that as just routine and chores. That would be laundry, the cooking, the dishes, getting the kids to soccer practice, all the things that Americans think are like, this has to happen. Women are getting divorced because they have too much mental load. I want to mock it. I'm going to mock it. But at the same time, it is devastating that that is where we have arrived in regards to what is worth tearing our families apart. Okay, again, it used to be abuse and adultery, and now it's mental load. He doesn't recognize that I do all the laundry. He doesn't split the dishes 50-50. He doesn't look at any of the parent emails. There's the CNN article. It says, this is the title, just to give you like a synopsis of what this is actually about. No, you can't just ask your wife to make a list. This is how to become equal household partners. Okay, Madeline Holcomb over at CNN, she has all the answers for you and your wifey on how to make things equal in the home. I have been married for 5 years. Not very long, but still longer than many Hollywood marriages, right? And actually, surprisingly, shockingly, depressingly, longer than a lot of people I knew in high school and college. Already, I have more friends getting divorced now, friends and family getting divorced now than I ever heard about divorce growing up in high school, right? Like when one of our friends' parents got divorced, it was a huge deal. And now I think I've heard about like the 5th divorce of my like close circle growing up this year. It's crazy. It's getting out of hand. So yes, it's only 5 years of marriage that me and my husband are coming up on, but I still feel like I have some authority on this subject. I think I can share a thing or two. I say stay away from women and friends in general who are always the victim. So much so the victim that they talk about things like mental load or housework, or they need affirmation more often from their husband, who most likely provides for them financially. Stay away, okay? Because that victimhood mentality is going to be the death of them and their marriage. And if you see legitimacy and really consider what it is they're saying about their own family situation and the neglect that they're, the fact that their husband isn't taking care of them enough emotionally and he's not doing the dishes, God forbid, right? It will penetrate your family, that sort of language. That social circle of women will infect your family. And if you do not rip that away from your life, if you do not tear it off, okay, think of it as like a little leech. If you do not tear it off and throw it to the wind, lest it ever come back to your life again, send it off to hell where it belongs, your marriage will probably be okay if you rip and throw. Rip it off, throw it away. If you don't, those sorts of people and their mentality will kill you, your marriage, and then destroy the lives of your children. Okay? Victimhood mentality is horrible for anyone and everyone. We all have a story, right? Everyone has trauma, which makes you wonder, does anyone have trauma? Everyone has horrible stories to share. Meditating on that and focusing on that, letting that define the rest of your life and justify your complaining and whining and about everything, that does you no good. It only hurts you. It keeps you from enjoying the blessings God has for you. It infects your relationships with people because you're always thinking about yourself. You can't think about other people. It's just woe is me, right? You see that with these TikTok moms, and I'll get there in a second. But that's just victimhood mentality in general. So if you have that in regards to your relationship with people, if it's just all about what he doesn't do, okay, maybe he pays most of the bills, or maybe he pays all of the bills, right? There's a lot of women out there who say, well, I don't have to work, but I really want to work because, being home with my children all day, I just want to die. But I don't have to. He gives me the choice to work. Okay, so you're working. But he's the one who does monetarily provide for you all. Okay, he's the one who if all went to hell with your career and you decided you need to be home with your kids, whatever, you could depend on him financially. That may be the case. It may even be the case that when he gets home, sometimes he even plays with the kids. Okay, maybe he takes you out on a date every now and then. Maybe it's to the point where financially he provides so well that you guys can grocery shop or eat out whenever you want, okay? But that's not enough. Because see, he doesn't think about doing the laundry. He doesn't think about the dishes in the sink when you guys are going to bed. He really doesn't ever consider that the principal sent out an email about some stupid class party going on next week. How dare he? Doesn't he know how stressful and challenging all of these things are? And you've explained it over and over again. And you know what? CNN, Madeline Holcomb says, you don't deserve a list. You should just know all of this. Thinking that way in your marriage will kill it. Okay? And if you meditate on that enough, you'll end up thinking that you deserve better, you deserve more, I should have more. Okay? And just like I was saying about victimhood mentality from childhood and thinking about yourself all the time when you're in conversations with people, me, women who think this way are doing the same thing in their relationships and with their children. They're not able to think about how challenging things are for their husband. They're not able to think about the pressure that's on him. They're not able to think about maybe the ways that they as the woman are falling short. No, he isn't doing enough because he doesn't have the mental load. We're literally giving names to nothing but chores that we all grew up with. Now we're literally saying that that is justification enough for tearing your family apart. That victimhood mentality will kill you. And I highly recommend women running as far and away from other women like that, okay? Because they're miserable. And guess what? The grass isn't greener. The likelihood that there is some perfect angel from your fairy smut fantasy book, that exists for you and it isn't abusive and it isn't horrifying and it isn't entirely based in lust or fantasy, yeah, that's pretty freaking slim. It's most likely not going to happen. If you are focusing on all that he doesn't do, and if you're consuming the TikToks of the moms talking about mental load, me, he wasn't seeing what I go through, what I need. Okay, that me mentality, if you are focusing on that, you are going to miss all of the good stuff. And you wouldn't want, can you imagine if your husband was sitting around all day watching and looking at content of husbands talking about the fact that he deserves better than you? Think about all the hot women he could have. Think about all the women who don't bitch at him all the time. Excuse my French. About all of the women who appreciate what he does financially for the family. Think about all of the women who actually enjoy being with their children. Like, that's like a man's fantasy, is being with a woman who enjoys the kids that they share together. So he's out there watching content like that every single day on his phone, okay? Would you like that? Would you feel unappreciated? Would you feel like that's a little unrealistic? Would you feel like maybe he should think more about the good that you provide or the benefits of being married to you? You would. So why sit around consuming lies and narcissistic ideals when you can be praying for your marriage, reading the Bible, reading Bible verses about not being selfish? That is probably a lot better for your marriage than this garbage from Madeline Holcomb. And men, this is my advice to men. 5 years of marriage, you guys. No, but I absolutely love being married. There's like nothing. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for what God has given me. So I do think it's important to share when you have a good thing, like how you got there, or why you're there, or why it's working so well for you, right? But for men, if you're seeking, if you're on the hunt for a woman, I don't know what that was. It's just like maybe he's out. No, well, that would be like with a gun. I don't know. He's out looking for a lady, all right? He's out in the forest. He's looking for himself a girl. Ugh, do you remember when those women were like, the bear or the man? And then all of the women were like, the bear. It's just like, ugh, it's no wonder. It's no wonder men and women like hate each other these days. If you are out looking for a woman, I highly, highly, highly recommend avoiding a woman who is the type of friend where she affirms everything her friends do. Say you're dating this girl, you're testing her for marriage, and her friend cheats, or her friend leaves her husband, or her friend is complaining about her husband all the time, or her boyfriend all the time. And you find that your girlfriend is like excusing her all the time, or justifying her, or defending her all the time. You guys are actually kind of like arguing about this. Run away. That's not isolated. That is going to, if it hasn't already, make its way into how she thinks about her own family, about her own relationships. Rest assured, she will make your life hell down the road. I think being with somebody who is capable of being objective, and like women are pretty irrational anyway. We're very emotional, myself included, especially. Like, God bless my husband. There are women, we are still capable of being healthy. And so finding a woman who can be objective about situations and be able to identify who was wrong, or who's being unrealistic with their expectations, or who's being unfair, putting unfair standards on the other person, or who clearly is not communicating properly or in a way that can actually solve any sort of conflict. Being with a girl who's able to do that is going to get you so much further, because she's going to be able to do that in her own relationship with you. The women who are listening to like the Alex girl from Call Her Daddy, but women who listen to other women literally just complain all the time, that's like crack for a girl, okay? Being justified in her nagginess, being justified in her negativity, complaining about everything, that's crack for her. And you cannot change that about her, okay? So if she's doing that all the time and she's not able to see maybe what's wrong with podcasts like that, or women like that, or female talk shows like that, you can't change her. Run away. And if you're like, oh, but she's like the bed chem, right? It's Sabrina Carpenter song. The chemistry in bed. This is why you should wait until you're married to be sleeping with someone, because, and like that's obviously my Christian traditional, especially Catholicism, like passion. When you are sleeping with someone before you're married to them, it clouds your judgment. Because like the writing is on the wall that this woman would be terrible for you because she's not able to think objectively. She's very me-oriented. Women are always right in her world, right? If she was like a believe all women type of lady, but you like being with her physically, sexually, intimately, you're not going to be able to make proper judgment. And she's going to ruin your life. So this is just, maybe this is me now being more of a mom. Don't sleep with people before you're married to them. It just makes things more complicated. It's not wise, okay? And by the way, there's tons of studies out there that show people who sleep together before they're married and people who move in together before they're married have a much higher divorce rate, a much higher sexless marriage rate. None of it's good, okay? It's almost like the Bible was right about a few things. Excuse me. The thing about fall in Texas is you have your cute little pumpkin candle, you have your cute little orange decor in your sweater, but you also have an iced coffee. Being with a woman who is me-oriented, who complains about the mental load, okay? At risk of being way too trad, way too based here. Screw it, this is my YouTube channel. A woman who insists that you guys be equal in everything is not a good idea. I remember finding recently, there's like a ton of Christian women out there, like progressive Christians, even like non-progressive Christians. They're just like your regular old American Protestant Christian. They're like, oh, the Bible doesn't say anything about women being at home. Totally it does. And in fact, I found this verse recently, I'll put it right here, of Paul saying like, older women teach the younger women to be, and he lists all these things, and one of them is homemaker. It matters what's at home. It matters who is running the home. The home needs someone at the top that's running things like the laundry and the dishes and the cooking and the children and the schooling. Like that's a full-time gig, okay? And so if you have someone who's insisting that all needs to be split between her and you guys are going to end up bickering. You're going to suck at that, first of all, because you're a dude. But you guys are going to fight about nothing. But I've been there. I've been like, oh man, I just so wish he would do a load of laundry. And then, by the way, when he did it, it was a crap job. But I remember wishing so badly that he would do that. And like this person in my life would send me a podcast and be like, watch this podcast and feel bad about your marriage and feel like your husband's not doing enough. So I watched the podcast. This only went on for luckily a couple of weeks. But I remember doing that and I would just completely lose sight of all of the sacrifice and work that my husband was putting into our life. It was completely delulu, okay? I was so delusional. But I was consuming only media that was about how I'm a victim, even though my husband, every single day he has to show up at work. Every single day, layoffs are a threat to him and everybody else in his field, right? Every single day. He has to show up. He has to perform well and above everybody else to prove to his manager that he's worthy of being kept on in case things go to crap at his company. And every single day, the weight of our mortgage, our groceries, our insurance, our retirement is on that man's shoulders. And yet, he didn't do a load of laundry today. Luckily, the Lord has delivered me of that very brief but serious season in my life. Led me to realize who you surround yourself with in regards to other women and what you consume on your media, your TikTok, your Instagram. I'm not on any of it right now. Thank God. That can make or break your marriage. Like, comment, subscribe, all of the things. I'm sure you just enjoyed that very negative rant. But hey, it's what's on my mind these days. It's what I'm literally seeing people divorce over these issues. And I think ending the most important relationship and destroying your family over these things is beyond petty, dare I say, evil.